For my presentation, I chose to do Frank Gehry, the architect, and I was really drawn to his architecture because of the beautiful curvy like buildings that he creates that are just very different, very modern, unlike anything that you normally see in architecture. And you can tell that he just really uses his imagination when he goes to create a building instead of just thinking about the structure. A little bit about Frank and his family. His father was a salesman, a truck driver, and a boxer. His mother was a violinist, and she was the one that introduced him to art and music. But unfortunately, Frank's father didn't want to support him in his artistic pursuits and called him a dreamer. And Frank actually agrees and feels like he's able to be a dreamer, and that's a good thing. And he took that and became an amazing artist and architect. This building here is an example of his creativity. It's the Blue River Center for Brain Health in Las Vegas, Nevada. And you can see he has these kind of folds like that of fabric, and he says that that type of fold is inspired by the artist Bernini, that he was able to be inspired by. This is another building that Frank designed, and a quote by him. He says, quote, "Every day is a new thing. I approach every project with a new insecurity, almost like the first project," end quote. Now, something that we see a lot in his different buildings is this shape of the fish. And somewhere along the way, as he was, creating buildings, he did a little bit of research and was just really inspired by the form of the fish, and felt like it was kind of a organic object and just very beautiful and flowy. And he created a series of these different fish lamps that use that shape a lot, and you can see how beautiful that is. He said that while he was creating a commission with a plastic laminate material, he accidentally shattered a piece of the laminate, and then looking at this shard, he was inspired, noticing the texture, which reminded him of fish scales, which then led to a series of different fish lamps. And he believes that the fish is the perfect form. One of his most famous works is the Guggenheim Museum, which is in Bilbao, Spain, and it's made of a steel frame, titanium sheathing, which is actually inspired by the fish scales and kind of the way that they shine. And it's also made of limestone and glass. And he says that the curves of the exterior of the building are designed to catch the light and give it that shine. And then if you look, you can't really see in this picture, but on the side of the building, it's got these long sweeping shapes that make it look like a ship or like a boat. And the reason that he did that is because the city Bilbao, Spain is a port city next to the sea, and he wanted to incorporate that aspect of the city into this beautiful building that they have. Another of his famous works is the Disney Concert Hall. And unlike a lot of his other buildings, which are meant to blend into the city, this work is meant to stand out and to be unlike any other building that's in the city, and it's a very beautiful curvy building with some really neat sharp edges as well, and it's a really important building there in the city. Another of his famous buildings is the Dancing Building in Prague, and the inspiration for this building and that kind of lean that you see, he wanted to allow the building behind it to still have its view and not stop the view from being seen. So he decided to make that little pinch, and he calls it the Ginger Rogers building next to the Fred Astaire building because of that kind of A-line type design. The reason, or I guess the purpose of that Frank says that he likes to create is for the betterment of humanity. He wants to create beautiful buildings and not just, something that's just structural. A quote by him is that I like to end with is, quote, "After loving your clients, being responsible, creating a stable building on a budget, fitting into the city, what is the value of your work?" End quote.